So in this video, I'm going to just quickly run through how you potentially could use PowerPoint Live during your live streaming sessions. Now, when sharing content, sharing a PowerPoint or a resource within a Teams call, what happens when you share a screen or a window is that the Teams call disappears, it minimizes, and then you then can't see your audience, your pupils. Now, if you are using two monitors, obviously you could drag the Teams call onto one monitor so you can keep an eye on the pupils, and then on the other monitor you could have your PowerPoint presentation. However, if you're using a single monitor or a laptop with just a screen, when you share any content, the Teams call disappears, and then you can't keep an eye on your pupils. However, PowerPoint Live allows you to share a presentation, share a PowerPoint, and also keep an eye on the audience during the actual during the presentation itself. So when you open up the share content tray, the PowerPoint Live feature appears at the bottom. And as you can see, what it says here is that when you share PowerPoint Live, you'll see your notes, you'll see the slide and the audience whilst presenting. So the first thing that you would need to do is go to Browse My Computer and find the PowerPoint that you'd like to share with your pupils. And what happens, it uploads the PowerPoint within the Teams call. And as you can see, the Teams call doesn't minimize. The PowerPoint is now embedded into the Teams call. And if there were pupils now part of this lesson, I would be able to see their cameras within the window itself. So as you can see, the red border goes around the actual presentation, which means that now is being broadcast to the audience. And I then can navigate from one slide to the next by either clicking on the slides at the bottom or using the navigate forward arrow, or alternatively using the keys on your keyboard. Now, a few useful features within PowerPoint Live that you could use are firstly, are these options at the bottom here, where you could use a laser pointer to point at different sections or different areas within the PowerPoint. You could use the pen to annotate on the actual presentation. You could use a highlighter to highlight certain text, certain pieces of work within the PowerPoint, and you've got the eraser here so you can delete anything you annotate on the actual page itself. Now, because it's a PowerPoint Live, as you write on the actual PowerPoint, the pupils would see that as and when it happens during the call itself. Now, if you're fortunate enough to have a touchscreen laptop and a stylus, then you could actually use the pen and the touchscreen capability to write on the actual page itself. Alternatively, you could just use the mouse then to highlight or to write on the page itself. Another feature within PowerPoint Live is that you can actually superimpose yourself onto the PowerPoint. So during the lesson itself, the pupils, because the red border is around the PowerPoint, the pupils would see the PowerPoint and then you going through and presenting, going through the PowerPoint as and when. So as I'm navigating through the page, through the PowerPoint, I then can go through and just to maybe to highlight you during the lesson itself. So that's a nice little feature you could potentially use. As it's a Teams call, obviously the normal features are still available within Teams. So the chat is still there, the raise hand feature, and also the show participant lists. And finally, to stop presenting, you click stop presenting. So yeah, just a PowerPoint Live is just a useful tool that you could use during your live streaming lessons.